Hey folks, and welcome back to Let's Play WWE 2K14. I'm the Mysterious JG. It's 30 years of WrestleMania, and you can call me Big Daddy Cool if you want to. I'm not sure why you would do that, but at any rate, Diesel's music's playing, and we're on the menu screen because when I was going to go into the next match and have it preloaded for you, I realized there's a cinematic movie to be played. So let's go ahead and watch that cinematic movie together, gentle viewer, and it will prepare us for Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, the big rematch of WrestleMania 15's main event, coming 2 years later at WrestleMania X7. And it's too bad because I like Alberto Del Rio's music, but we have to move away from it now. Just in case you were wondering, got roughly 20 matches in this game's WrestleMania story mode from WrestleMania 2000 to WrestleMania 1. So even though we had over 2,000 WrestleManias, we had about 20 matches. We've got about 20, between 20 and 30 matches, about 25 matches. We are not quite halfway through the game, but as you'll see, it's because the later WrestleManias, yeah, a lot more matches for each card. You go back to these older ones, and, well, I mean, let's face it. For the fans of the current WWE video game, Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy, it's hard enough sell to get them to care about that. So, matches lower on the card, I mean, they just don't know who some of these superstars are. So, you know, are you really going to want to try to convince them to they need to play as Don Morocco? I mean, it's a tough sell. And there's some great matches from yesteryear that they would have loved to include, but they're not WrestleMania. I mean, surely they wanted to put Superfly Snuka jumping off the top of the cage. It wasn't WrestleMania, so, you know. So most of these, like there's a few that there's two. Somebody had the good sense to force in Steamboat versus Macho, even though it was at WrestleMania 3, and they couldn't leave out Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. I mean, you could. If you're only going to do one match from the first 3 WrestleManias, it would have to be Hogan versus the Giant. And then the Mega Powers exploded and stuff. Yeah, but you're seeing one match per WrestleMania. As we get closer to the modern day, you start seeing 3 matches because it's people who are still on the roster. So it's, you know, they didn't have to. They already had made them for the game. They didn't have to make new versions. Blah blah. What I'm getting at, folks, is we're more than halfway as far as the number of WrestleManias go. I think we're most of the way there. But match-wise, we've got quite a bit of this LP left to go, and I hope you'll stick with it and enjoy. But let's, as I said, however many minutes ago now, let's watch the pre-match hype for Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. Oh, and by the way, Houston, Texas, that's going to be a pretty partisan pro-Austin crowd. See, I don't know why Jim Ross isn't that apoplectic about Stone Cold in his commentary in these matches. He's pretty excited about The Rock here, but normally his marking out for Austin was like on a whole different level.
To collide at WrestleMania 17.
The fact is, Rock, you got the title, and I want it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock isn't waiting until WrestleMania. The Brahma Bull is furious. Hey, wait a minute.
The Brahma Bull is the bull.
To The Rock.
Wait a minute. The Rock just gave the Stone Cold Stunner. The Stone Cold Steve Austin. How personal can this get? Can you imagine what it's going to be like at WrestleMania?
Probably a little bit like the previous WrestleMania.
Emotions
where they
ran
fought.
high as these longtime rivals set their sights on the WWE Championship.
I will give you every drop of sweat, every drop of blood.
Well, thank you, Rocky.
Energy I have.
I need to beat you, Rock. I need it more than anything that you can ever imagine.
Oh, that sounds so homoerotic.
Of The Rock at WrestleMania.
There can be only one champion, and that will be Rock. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That will be Rock. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Damn, I messed that up. There can be only one, and it's not gonna be you, the Kurgan. At Royal Rumble 2001, blah blah. Stone Cold Steve Austin set a record when he won his 3rd Rumble match, eliminated Kane for the victory. The win earned Stone Cold a shot at the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, The Rock made history of his own NWO, becoming the first ever six-time WWE Champion. A matchup against familiar adversaries loomed just over the horizon. This is a thing to note. Austin did this whole I am the only one in the Rumble waiting for someone else to show up, checking my watch thing, which was cool and all, but DiBiase did it better. And B, The Rock was a six-time champion because back when Hogan was the champion and then lost it to Macho and then won it back, your title reigns tended to last a year. You don't really see the same guy holding the title for a year straight with no change-ups nowadays. I guess they don't trust the audience to have the attention span. They figure they need to mix it up more. It had been nearly 2 years since The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin faced each other, but animosity and bad feelings remained and threatened to boil over. Now, once again, they would collide, this time in the main event of WrestleMania 17. So yeah, that's kind of one of those things that's changed about wrestling. For better or for worse, you decide. But like if you're listening to the modern show and they talk about JBL was the longest reigning champion of the modern era, or CM Punk held the title for 150 days or whatever it is they're talking about, it's because those are impressive by the standards now. But like John Cena, who has barring catastrophic injury, if he wrestles when he's like half of Ric Flair's age, till he's half Ric Flair's age, he is going to have many years ahead of him in his career. But he's almost caught up to Ric Flair in the number of total title runs. And Ric Flair was notorious compared to the guys in WWF at the time, and Ric Flair was the NWA. He was notorious for losing the title and getting it back to keep things. It's kind of like the modern sensibility of like the champion, whether they're a good guy or bad guy, shouldn't hold the title for that long without it switching up. Almost came from Ric Flair. It was like drop it to Dusty, win it back, drop it to Sting, win it back. Anyway, let's move along. Sting and Dusty, by the way, neither of them in this game, which is sad, but okay, I'm not seriously complaining Sting isn't in the current WWE game, but whatever, let's move on. None of the police are.
The following contest is a no disqualification match and is for the WWE Championship.
Man, what I wouldn't give for like this level of storyline in the Rumble Roses franchise again. I miss the PS2 Rumble Roses and its stories. And I wish that Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock would confront each other about, like, robots that one of them has built to take over the world. Right. From knee surgery. From knee surgery. We need people who can read scripts and interact with others. Sorry. Just the magic of YouTube. You can kill a whole afternoon just watching random videos. I found some video that was purporting to be about how Jim Ross got fired. Jim Ross apparently got fired because he didn't do a very good job controlling a roundtable event promoting this very game. In that event, he talked about how his favorite match that he got to call ever was this match. And he mentioned it in... Well, I'll shut up and let them talk about The Rock.
This is a very partisan Texas crowd. Austin is revered.
And meanwhile, they wish The Rock to be executed, as they tend to do to their retards in Texas.
There's no doubt about it, JR. And for good reason. Stone Cold Steve Austin has backed up everything he has ever said in his career. The rivalry between these two extremely
I don't know why I'm messing with Texas. You're not meant to do that, but
in Houston, Texas has the advantage.
people start talking about how great Texas is. I'm sorry. There's a part of me that thinks, yeah, you guys wreck our school books and execute your retards. That just makes me a really bad person to think like that, but that's just the dark side of Hulkamania, JG Mania coming out sometimes. But no, I'm sorry. What I was trying to say before I decided to start randomly insulting a state full of people, culture, and history. I'm sorry, Texas. But what I was starting to say there was like there's this event, this thing you can find it on YouTube if you feel like it. Jim Ross is hosting a roundtable discussion. It gets out of hand. Ric Flair appears to be drunk, but before it goes to hell, he's asking people. He's talking to the different guests, and one of them is Paul Heyman, who's kind of out of character in a way that you don't see him that often anymore. because Paul Heyman's like really plays a bad guy almost all the time in WWE. But he was talking about matches that he loved calling, and JR, kind of out of character, thanked Paul Heyman, who was also out of character, for really challenging him and making Jim Ross work harder on commentary and be less comfortable, and therefore come up with some real drama during the commentary for this particular match. And it caused me to go look it up because I got curious, and in fact, there was an insanely hot crowd for this match, and it really was kind of interesting. So, but one of the things that really made it work is that instead of Lawler and Jim Ross being kind of buddy-buddy on commentary, with Lawler doing this kind of weak half-assed heel shtick, but pretty much they were both on friendly terms, it was JR doing commentary with Paul Heyman and at various points throughout this particular pay-per-view, which you can find most of it for free and probably not terribly legal on YouTube. It really does sound like Jim Ross just wants to fucking kick Paul Heyman's ass. He really just wants to, like, slap him. Like I said, as opposed to the Jerry Lawler, I'm going to do this really kind of lightweight heel shtick, but we're all buddy-buddy here. Oh, I kind of lost track for a minute, but I'm still supposed to be doing stuff.
The Rock and Austin are the two biggest stars in the world right now. And there can only be
They're the two brightest stars in the Milky Way. They are between Geth Space and the Perseus Veil, which I think was Geth Space. So
The Rock and Austin met 2 years ago.
The vertical suplex thing seems to be working for me. So.
Came out the victor that night. The Rock will do whatever it takes to not have history repeat itself tonight.
The WWE Championship is on the line, JR.
Stone Cold
Damn it.
Steve Austin is
I really wanted to avoid the I will spit in my hand before I punch you punch, because unless you've really been rocked before he goes for it, rocked, get it? It's just ridiculous that you sit there and take that move.
The Rock is fighting for the championship tonight, right here.
The Rock is fighting for the championship tonight, right here in Texas.
It's all about personal issues and pride. And who's going to be the top man in this business? Is it going to be The Rock or Stone Cold?
This is without a doubt.
This is what?
And intense battles for the WWE Championship I have ever witnessed. This is off
I'm trying to do my Fez press and I totally screwed it up.
This is clearly no longer
I need to get my damn signature here.
These two men simply do not like
There we go.
And the great one may just be on a Lou Thesz press, followed by a flurry of right hands.
Now, we're not supposed to know, as the audience watching, just whose side is Vince McMahon out here on. Who is he here to support? Because, you know, he don't like Austin. Oh, The Rock got busted open, huh? I think something in him snapped. How could anyone want to do that to another human? Well, did you? No, I didn't hear the impact.
That was vicious. He's just brutalizing his opponent. Well, there's no sportsmanlike conduct going on right now.
Oh, I didn't even mean to throw it at him. That was kind of cool.
Thing away from him. This match is
Fuck you, fans.
The steel is calling.
All right, time for some cinematic Titanic here.
Look out! The Rock! Rock bottom! Rock bottom!
Shockingly, Vince McMahon has suddenly switched sides.
Why did Mr. McMahon pull The Rock?
I hate Vince McMahon's storyline, so I'm sorry. I appreciate that he's been an effective and fun villain in various storylines over the years, but once he gets involved, it just turns. It doesn't matter who the two wrestlers are, it just turns into a Vince McMahon storyline, and it usually sucks. Because this is meant to be shocking that various people betray each other and switch sides, and it's just dumb. Hey, so I rock bottomed The Rock, that's nice. I'm trying to get them to... What is my hidden objective here? I guess I'll try for a stunner.
There's another one. The bionic redneck Steve. That's it.
Is that my... Okay, that wasn't my objective then. Oh, maybe it was.
I never thought I would see the day.
Because it took like this was one of those in the actual real life match. Like, he hits the stunner and Rock kicks out. And he does it several times, and it just goes into this insane overkill mode before the Rock will finally stay down. But Stone Cold can't lose because Vince will, like, literally pull the ref out of the ring or fire him in mid-match. So the WrestleMania moment probably needs to occur here, but whatever it is. He punched Vince McMahon! Oh my God, I can't believe that! What happened? Oh! Yeah, so... Again, it's already happened, pretty much. I don't really know what he's got to worry about. It would take, like, special guest referee who is a wrestler and not just a referee before, yes. I do remember this. Oh, look at the gathering of chairs. Oh, Vince McMahon is grabbing a chair for me. No, this could get screwed up here because unlike the actual match... Oh, damn it. Unlike the actual match, I don't think Compu Vince McMahon will consistently save me. But, here we go. It's about getting hidden WWE 2K14 objectives. So yeah, this is a pretty awesome example of Stone Cold just losing his shit on somebody. For me, not much of a WrestleMania main event, more of like a Raw ending. And like next week, will The Rock get his revenge? Yeah, WrestleMania loses some of its luster when it becomes a storytelling prop to get people to tune in the next night, but from a business model, I guess I understand it. But WrestleMania is supposed to be where these things end, not where, like, shockingly, there was a plot twist at the end of WrestleMania. Tune into Raw to find out what will happen next. Yeah, but this time it better frickin' work. No rope break, please. There you go. A million chair shots doesn't do it, but a stunner does.
Here is your winner and new WWE champion, Stone Cold.
So it's supposed to be all shocking that Stone Cold switched sides with The Rock. Kind of hard to capture that in a game like this, where we skipped an entire year's worth of storytelling.
Austin and McMahon have joined forces. They were in it together the whole time. Steve Austin has joined forces.
Just kiss him, Stone Cold.
For the love of God, someone tell me.
He didn't do it for the love of God.
It's happening. Stone Cold Steve Austin
He's
has
a Vince Fierce WCW sign. I'm kind of surprised. I guess they can show that kind of stuff now that they've won, but
I don't believe this. What in the
you better believe he did fear WCW first.
Stone Cold has sold his soul to Satan himself. Why, Steve? Why this way?
And why is your beer made up entirely of some kind of like weird spray snow effect and not actual liquid?
Surgery. I thought I knew it. Mr. McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin together.
Veins on this Stone Cold model's arm look a little weird. I had this brief flash that Stone Cold had like Liquid Snake's arm grafted on. Oh, I guess he shot the bird there or something. So when he becomes evil Stone Cold, does that mean he's going to get his original theme back instead of this weird version with lyrics? Anyway, folks, tune in the next night on Raw to find out what the hell's going to happen. And all unlockable items for this match have been unlocked, so that's pretty cool. I'd be a great vocalist someday. Anyway, folks, that's it for this video. When we come back, I think Stone Cold versus The Rock happens at least one more time in this. And it might well be the next video. I don't remember for sure. But I hope that whatever is coming up next, you'll join me to watch it and enjoy. I'm Mysterious JG. Thank you very much. Tune in next time for WrestleMania X8, I suppose. Bye.